Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to This Week in Football on NerdTube. I'm here with my usual partner in crime, Gary. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right.
Now, this has been a fundamental week of football. We're going to be talking about just the recent results, something I just finished watching just a minute or two ago. But we're going to start off initially with some stuff that's happened earlier this week. So let's get on to that first of all. Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but we had the Carabao Cup this week. I'm sure you remember, Bossman.
I do remember. I mean, to be honest, I don't give a shit about it, to be honest, but that's just my personal opinion.
I love the Carabao. I'm a big fan of the Carabao Cup. Reason being is you get a chance to see some of the fringe players in action. You know, you get to see youth players in action, see if they have a chance to break into the first team. But a lot of the times, some players are just, you're never going to really get to see them unless it's tournaments like this. And then you get an idea of how good a genuine idea of how good they are, especially, you know, if they're playing at opposition, which some might consider to be lower league. But Brighton still seem to be doing very well in the League Cup. They've won 2-0 against Swansea. Leicester beat Millwall, and I'm always happy to see Millwall lose in any capacity. I don't like Millwall at all whatsoever. Well, we'll be talking about Spurs in another detail in a second, but they beat Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home 3-2. Oh, sorry.
3-2. On aggregate.
No, penalties.
Oh,
my
penalties.
bad. Yeah, on my bad. But there's no aggregate.
I thought it was aggregate. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we got beat by West Ham. We'll go into that in a moment. But you beat Wilderton. That's no big surprise. Chelsea won up penalties against Villa. I don't know if there's any more scores that we've got there.
Yes, we do, sir. Sorry. So 1 second.
Go the wrong way.
My bad. So yeah, that is actually it, because obviously we're getting teams knocked out. Oh, we've got some. Yeah, there were some matches the day before. Man City beat Wycombe Wanderers. 6-1, and Wycombe scored first, by the way. But after that is all she wrote, because Man City, without a designated striker, just so you remember, beat Wycombe 6-1. Watford lost to Stoke City. This is in my opinion, a bit of an issue for Watford, because their newly promoted team, you know, they should be doing better. But yeah, Stoke City 3-1. They'll be happy with that result. Leeds, they finally got a win of some capacity.
What, on penalties?
On penalties.
Against Fulham, who...
Yeah.
Sunderland won 2-0 against Wigan Athletic. That's not surprising. Burnley beat Rochdale 4-1, not surprising. Liverpool beat Norwich City 3-0, not surprising.
That's a Premier League affair, that game.
Yeah, Brentford absolutely smashed Oldham Athletic 7-0.
I have a friend of mine who is a Preston North End fan, and he would absolutely be ecstatic with this result, 4-1 against Cheltenham. Sheffield United versus Southampton. Yeah, Southampton managed to pull it through. Brentford. Brentford. Oh yeah, I saw the highlights for this game. The last goal, the 7th goal, was a humdinger, mate. A fucking overhead kick. Yeah, but Brentford, you know, they are the Premier League team, and they absolutely annihilated Oldham Athletic 7-0. QPR beat Everton on penalties. And then we're back to the results we saw earlier. So who's the next round consists of this? So we have Chelsea versus Southampton, West Ham versus Man City, Leicester versus Brighton, Burnley versus Tottenham, QPR versus Sunderland. These two got a lucky result there. But I'm sure they would probably wanted to play a Premier League team, but you know, at the same time, it means they go further in the tournament. Arsenal versus Leeds.
You should hammer them.
Hopefully.
I think Brentford's going to want that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Preston Liverpool, that's going to be Liverpool's, unfortunately.
Yeah. I know my mate, who's a Preston North End fan, won't be too happy
Yes,
about that.
sorry about that, Matt. My Brandon's friend, Sam's friend, but yeah, Liverpool are much better than you are. Sorry, that's just the truth. Unless they put their third team out there, then you might have a chance.
So you lost to
West Ham.
to West Ham. How do you feel about that, mate?
As I said, it's not really a competition we really put that much effort into. I think we only put like a second team out there, and West Ham are a pretty hard team to beat. So I'm not surprised to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know, but you did beat them earlier on, and I know they were out for revenge. It is amazing how often we have a league match, cup match with the same team at the same time. It does, that sort of shit happens quite often, actually. But nevertheless, I was expecting you to beat West Ham. I mean, you are at home, for fuck's sake. You would have thought you would have done the business on them. I mean, did you play any youth team players? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Well, it's not looking good for Ollie though, unfortunately, because
he's getting the shaft for what is basically the way that the team has been picking players. Because the thing is, we're picking players based on their name, not based upon whether what they're going to do is going to contribute to winning football. Because the thing is that Paul Pogba is a great player, but I think he's a great player under certain circumstances. You get me? Like, he's okay when he's got someone like a Kante or a Vidal or a guy next to him who will pick up the slack. Whereas if he doesn't have that, he's not really as effective as he could be, and he's very hot and cold. He blows hot and cold. Some days he looks like he's a world beater. Some days he looks like he should be playing like in the Rumblons, Division 8 or something. It's
I have to say, consistency with world-class players nowadays seems to be something that just doesn't happen anymore. I totally agree with you. I think Paul Pogba is a fantastic player when he wants to be. But I think with football players nowadays, they have so many issues off the pitch, so many things they're dealing with off the pitch that they almost forget what they have to do on the pitch. And when they want to turn up, they turn up. Now, this game, I apologize. When I say this game, I was about to talk about Man United, Arsenal versus Tottenham. But this game against West Ham should have, in my opinion, been a win for you guys. It didn't end up being that win. I do feel sorry for you guys a tiny bit, but only a tiny bit, mate. Not that much. But nevertheless, you're out of this particular tournament. And I feel sorry for some of your youth players who won't get a chance to maybe develop by not being in this tournament. West Ham should have been 3 points, in my opinion, for you guys. You guys are the better team. You are the bigger team. It never turned out that way. But there's still other cups for you to play for. All right. So let's move on from this, because the Carabao Cup, honestly, no one gives a fuck about that. I mean, I do, because we're still in it. But it's all about, in my opinion, it's all about the Premier League. So let me just bring up the Premier League results now. Arsenal have finished playing. Pull this to one side. Okay. So
I think that's it. Is it? No, it's that. You missed it.
Yeah, here we are.
There
we go.
So Chelsea. So Man City beat Chelsea.
That was a surprising result, by the way.
I'm not surprised, to be honest, because the thing is that City are a decent side, and but I am very surprised that Chelsea didn't score, because they've been scoring pretty regularly, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was a cancelling out affair. I mean, these two teams, when they do play each other, it isn't necessarily a goal fest. They cancel each other out pretty well, and it took a lucky goal, from Jesus, a deflection. He turned in a shot, and it was a big deflection, went past Mendy, concrete legs, and that was it, really. I mean, there was not much to this game. It was a flat game, to tell you the truth. sometimes when you watch big teams play each other, it doesn't always end up being the stellar affair it should be. Excuse me. And this game was pretty shit, in my opinion. But the game which was played at the same time, which was also of the same scoreline, but ended up being one of the biggest surprises of the weekend, was Man United versus Aston Villa. I mean, you were losing 1-0 in this game, and in the dying end of the game, you got a bloody penalty. And I was shocked. I mean, was Ronaldo still on the pitch?
He was.
So it's kind of surprising that Ronaldo didn't take it. And then the pressure's on Bruno to score this because Ronaldo, his teammates there, who always takes the penalties for club and country, as far as Bruno's concerned. But this time Bruno's got a chance to take a penalty. And it's the dying end of the game. He can't afford to miss it. And he hits it into fucking Rose Ed.
Well,
this is why the NFL with that sort of kick, man.
Well, to be honest with you, man, I mean, as I said, like, this is why you get your best player to take your penalty. I mean, nothing against Bruno, he's a great player, but he's not Ronaldo, who literally has such an unbelievable goal record. I mean, you got to remember that, like, since he's started for us, apart from this game, he's scored in every single game for us. I mean, that should tell you on its own, like, you know, how good he is. And the thing is that United didn't turn up, and Aston Villa took advantage. That's basically what happened. No, sorry if you're a Villa fan, but that's basically what happened.
Yeah, Aston Villa, the last couple of games, they've done pretty well. They beat Everton, now they've beaten Man United. Aston Villa, I was still surprised that they beat you guys, but I think there's a couple of things that need to change at Man United. For a start, you need to give the captain's armband to fucking Ronaldo. Doesn't matter who else is on the pitch.
No, but Maguire's a good captain.
But Ronaldo is the man. You know, I mean, he's the captain for. You know, when you captain your country, you should be the captain of your club, in my opinion. And Maguire is not even second choice captain for England, but nevertheless, everyone looks at as Ronaldo as the leader of the team. You know,
I'm going to what's the word? I'm going to nicely disagree with you. He reminds me a lot of Steve Bruce, not in like his demeanor or his play or anything like that, just with his leadership that he will organise that back line.
I'm not doubting that Maguire is not a good leader, but you know, I'm just thinking that when it comes to being a captain, you know, you can only have one, and if I had a choice, I'd give it to Ronaldo because the guy is an older player. He's a veteran. He's won shit in every capacity for club and country. He needs to be the leader. Then he takes the responsibility of the penalty, you know, and then and then all this wouldn't have happened. And this is really bad for Ole, in my opinion. You got fucking Ronaldo in your team and you're losing games. You know, it's not good. It's not good for him at all, man. Yeah, you're losing to teams like fucking Aston Villa. And remember, Aston Villa have only been recently promoted. It's not like they're a majorly established Premier League team. Okay, Gary will be back in a second. But as I was saying, Aston Villa, even though they played in the Premier League for a long period of time, they went down because they were fucking shit. And then they came back up again. Now they've been back up for a couple of seasons or so. But they're not an established Premier League team like they once were. And they shouldn't have lost to Man United, in my opinion. This is a really bad result for Ole. This should be 3 points. You're at home. It should be 3 points. Even the draw.
You got to remember that we were undefeated away last season, but I think we lost like 2 or 3 games at home, and that's what basically cost us like the championship. Because like I don't think City really. I think they maybe like. They kind of like drew like I think only like 2-3 games and didn't lose any at home.
Fair enough. I can understand you losing to like maybe a Chelsea or a Manchester City or a team like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should be losing to Villa. But you know, everyone loses to shit teams. Man United have lost to shit teams under Alex Ferguson. It does happen. Anyway, Leicester City versus Burnley. Now Leicester, I'm not going to say they're necessarily going. You know, they're not having the best of starts this season. and a 2-2 against Burnley, who, in my opinion, are already relegated. They just don't know it yet. Isn't a great result for a team like Leicester.
No. I mean, Burnley, I think, are in the fight. Norwich City are not in the fight. I don't think they've even. I'm not sure if they've even drew a game this year. I mean, they've lost everything.
They've only scored one goal, maybe two, but I think one goal for sure. And Everton, they needed that win against Norwich after losing to Villa last week.
I think if you look at the table, Norwich City haven't won it. I don't think they've even drew a game.
Let's have a look at the table.
Let's run.
Norwich City. Yeah, Norwich City. I'm just having a quick look at goals for you. They've only scored 2 goals.
16 goals against.
16 goals against. Every game.
Right. I'm going to make this prediction now. Again, like Norwich City fans, sorry, don't hate me. That Norwich City will beat Sunderland.
Sunderland? Sunderland are not in the Premier League, mate.
Yes, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Norwich City will beat Sunderland's all-time worst record in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
I think. How many points did they have? So stupid.
I can't remember. 11. Maybe?
So like 11. Yeah. I don't Norwich City will be very lucky to get that. Sorry, Norwich fans. You know it's true.
They become the whipping boy, but I don't look at Burnley any different. By the way, Burnley, they're kind of living off their reputation. I've said for a while that Sean Dyche needs to leave Burnley. They need to freshen things up. It's gone stale with him there. And the ironic thing is that Burnley gave him a new contract at the start of the season. But, a 4-year deal. But yeah, they need to get rid of Dyche. This club needs a serious they need a refresh. Norwich City, unfortunately, let's be having you. Well, they won't be having you because you're going to be going down. They are whipping boys this season. They have to accept that.
Well, Joshua, I mean, as I said, I don't know where their next win's coming from. It could come against Burnley or like one of the teams that's in the relegation zone, but they'd be very lucky to get that, to Joshua.
Leeds United versus West Ham. Leeds United as well can't buy a win. They are struggling this season. Second season syndrome for Leeds United, as far as I'm concerned. And West Ham back to winning ways after a little stutter. Because let's have a quick look at the table again. They had the last 3 prior to this game. They had 2 draws, and then they had that defeat against Man United. And now they got a win again, so they're back in winning ways. So that was a much needed result for West Ham. And Leeds, people are giving too much credit to Leeds. They're fucking shit. Leeds are fucking shit, and they're going through their second season syndrome, and that's not good for them. Newcastle also haven't won this season, and they drew 1-1 with Watford. Watford, I think, got a late equaliser.
Well, ask the question: could Steve Bruce be the first guy to go this season? I mean,
possibly.
It's either going to be the manager of Norwich, or it's going to be the manager, or it's going to be Steve Bruce, or it's going to be the manager of Burnley. It's going to be Sean Grice. It's going to be one of those 3.
I don't think the manager of Norwich should be sacked because
he's got a shit team.
He's got a shit team, man. And no, like if you expect a manager to come in, even at this stage of the season, to turn things around, then you're thinking all wrong, in my opinion. There is no chance. There is no chance that Norwich are going to turn things around. And regarding Watford, Newcastle, yeah, you could throw in the new guy, but Newcastle are looked upon as such a poison chalice at the moment with an owner like Mike Ashley. I'm not sure if anybody wants to manage them. This was a fantastic game. Brentford versus Liverpool.
I saw some of this.
Yeah, fantastic. It's so much credit to Brentford because they were always a goal down. Every Liverpool. So they scored first, then Liverpool equalised. Then Liverpool made it 2-1, and Brentford equalised. Liverpool made it 3-2, Brentford equalised. So I give a lot of credit to Brentford.
Brentford are doing pretty well for themselves, to be honest.
Very well for themselves. Yeah, they're playing with the big boys now, and they're up for it. There's a team with watching them play. Like there was no egotistical elements to them. They really played for each other. Okay, if one of my teammates available, I'll pass it to him. Doesn't matter who it is. And I like that. Sometimes you watch football matches and you think to yourself, why are they reluctant to pass it to this guy? But not with Brentford. Brentford all the time. Anyone available, they would give the ball to him because there's no egos in that team. And I like it. And the lack of egos is what got them that
that's the
3-3.
exact opposite of what's going on in United. There's loads of egos. Like Ronaldo and Greenwood would pass to each other. And no offense to Greenwood, he's a good player. He's a good young player, but he's not on Ronaldo's level.
He's nowhere near it, man. Like Ronaldo has got all his stripes, all his badges. Ronaldo has earned everything possible. Ronaldo, if he retired today, he would be looked upon one of Hall of Fame greats of all time. He's an established, prestige footballer. Greenwood is still cutting his teeth and he's still trying to make a name for himself. Greenwood doesn't even get into the fucking England team, for fuck's sake. So there's just like they're chalk and cheese, Mason Greenwood and Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm not saying Mason Greenwood's shit. I'm not saying that at all. But he's still young and he still needs to make a name for himself. And there's people in their early 20s and teenagers who make a name for themselves. And Mason Greenwood hasn't become that player yet. You want to say something, Bossman?
No, I'm just glad that I'm so happy for Brentford fans that because they beat you, then they've beat they've beat some teams that are worse than they are, and because seriously, they could have done exactly what Norwich and Flaming Burnley and all the other teams are doing, but no, they're doing pretty well for themselves. So
it's funny as well. I was doing some cabbing yesterday evening, and I just happened to drive through Brentford, and it was busy as fuck. And I was a bit worried because I knew the result was 3-3 with like 10 minutes to go, but I had to go through do my work. And as I was driving through Brentford, I thought to myself, wow, these Brentford fans don't look too ecstatic. They're just acting kind of like nothing's happening. Maybe they lost. And then I asked Google if they lost, and luckily Google told me that it was a 3-3 draw. I was expecting maybe more celebration on the streets, but it is a draw at the end of the day. But it's a good result. It is a good result, Southampton 0, Wolves 1. Well, this is unfortunate for Southampton. They've been
doing pretty well to themselves because they drew with City, they drew with they drew United. I think they drew with Chelsea as well, and then then they got beat by Wolves. It just seems like they just get up for the big teams. Well, so they're not that Wolves are a mediocre team, but they're not really top 6 material.
I agree. I was expecting something out of Southampton because they haven't won, by the way, this season. Every game they've played is a draw.
I think that's what mid-table teams do, is that they just eke up results. So I think that's just what I think they'll get a couple wins and then they'll just rattle them off.
I made Southampton favourites for this. This was a good result for Wolves. Raul Jimenez, by the way, I saw his highlights of the goal he scored.
Yeah,
fucking brilliant. Like the ball was kicked out by the goalkeeper, and then Jimenez got the ball on the last defender, and then some of the other defenders closed him down, and they were sliding around, and he put the brakes on, let the fucking defender slide past him, and then he just very casually and sensibly tucked the ball away, calmly tucked the ball away past the goalkeeper. It was a great goal, a really good goal. Even though it was only 1-0, it was a fantastic goal, and you see what it meant to Wolves. Now, I just finished watching this game, the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. Now, I'm a bit hot and cold on this game as time goes by.
I'm going to say something now that, again, you probably don't want to hear, but Tottenham have been on a bit of a downward slide since their really, really good start when they beat they beat City, then they beat they got 3 or 4 wins on the trot, and then obviously since then they've been in tank City.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean our wins were against Norwich, didn't look convincing. Then we beat Burnley, didn't look convincing. We've had some convincing wins against lower league opposition in the Carabao Cup, but I was still nervous going into this game. I didn't know how it was going to be until we played it. Now, the first half, we were all over Spurs like a fucking rash. All 3 goals were excellent team goals. The first goal was scored by Emil Smith-Rowe with a ball in from Saka. Fantastic goal. The second goal was the best of the lot. Initially brought out by Granit Xhaka, who had a hit and miss game, in my opinion. but there was a flick on done by Aubameyang for Smith Rowe to run on, which he did. Aubameyang is now running into the box. Smith Rowe's ahead of him though, so Smith Rowe puts the brakes on and passes the ball backwards square to Aubameyang, and Aubameyang tucks it away into the opposite corner with his left foot. Really good fucking goal. And the third goal was also a good team goal. I think Smith Rowe got 2 assists in this game, but he passed it to Saka, who had to do a lot of dribbling. He tried to I think he tried to square the ball to the far post to somebody, but the pass got blocked. But he was able to catch the rebound, and then he tucked it away with his right foot, and he's left-footed. It was a great first half, but this is where I see the similarities between Arteta and Southgate. Like, at some point in the second half, we needed to make a substitution. You know, we really did, and it wasn't until Heung-min Son scored to make it 3-1 to put a bit of a dampener on this result. I mean, everyone was really happy, but I would love to have kept a clean sheet. But Heung-min Son scored. It makes it 3-1. And now, like, we are reacting to what just happened. And now Mikel Arteta is making substitutions. It's like, Mikel Arteta, you should have brought on subs earlier on in the game, you know, before that goal was conceded. These players are knackered, you know, like they've been running around like full on.
So he's played not to lose rather than play to win.
No, we were winning, but we didn't.
No. But you know what I mean, though. Like he was playing not to lose rather than play to win. So like he'd rather win defensive than attacking.
Just imagine, like, you saw the European final between England and Italy.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I know, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. But nevertheless, you saw how Southgate was. We were winning 1-0, and he never changed the damn fucking thing, you know, until fucking Italy scored, and then he started making it. So it's the same with this. Like, come on, Arteta. I know we're winning 3-0, but close up shop if we have to. We're in the second. Even if we haven't scored a goal in the second half, we don't need to. We're winning 3-0. Yeah. It's like 75th minute now, whatever. Close the shop, you know. Bring on, you know, Sambi Lokonga. Take off Smith Rowe. Take off Bukayo Saka. Bring on some fresh legs. That's what you need to do, mate. We don't need to score any more goals. We scored 3 fucking goals. If we score a 4th, great. But what we need to make sure we do is that we don't bring Tottenham back into the game. And they did get back into the game, and even with, you know, 14, 30 minutes left in the match, you know, you still think they might be able to pull something out the bag, but they've already scored 1. They score another. Next thing you know, our back's against the fucking wall. So that really pissed me off. Like the management, the in-game management, you know, by Mikel Arteta in that. I know some people say I'm nitpicking, you know, but these things are important. I mean, this is like...
So you'd rather be aggressive than defensive?
No, I want to be defensive. I don't mind being defensive, but you can't be defensive with tired legs. You know, like, we needed to make some smart substitutions. Granit Xhaka needed to come off, which he did. You know, you put in Sambi Lokonga, who's an up-and-down player. You know, you put in Nuno Tavares, you know, who's a left-back who can, you know, play in... You could make the makeshift left winger for the last 10 minutes of the game, which is not a problem. You know, you do stuff like that. You know, defensive-minded players, because we've already got the game bagged in the first half. We haven't scored any goals in the second half, but by this time we can't afford to let Spurs back in to make some clever defensive substitutions. And he didn't do that until we conceded, and that's what pisses me off. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I'm a bit upset that we conceded against Spurs, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's a great result. The players at the end of the match, they were buzzing. Everyone was pretty much buzzing. We're definitely going to go into the Brighton game, and Brighton are no mugs this season. They've been playing tremendously well. So we're going to go into the Brighton game with a spring in our step, hoping we can beat them, Ben White back at his old club. And by the way, one more thing, boss man. You know, a few weeks ago, Spurs were top of the league, Arsenal were bottom of the league. Spurs and Arsenal will now have the same fucking points.
I know. So yeah, I'm looking at the next week's results. So Everton United against Everton. Everton are gonna. I hate to say this, but Everton could have that. Where United playing at the moment.
Yeah, let's have a look at next week's games. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is the M23 derby, my friend. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. This will be a blood and thunder affair, in my opinion. And Brighton should be favourites for this match, regardless of it being a derby, because Brighton are in good form and Crystal Palace are not in good form. Yes, they beat Spurs 3-0. But outside of that, they've been really shit this season. But this game is being played at Palace. It will be a very pompous affair for sure. I can imagine there'll be the fans will be making a lot of noise. Crystal Palace have got great fans, so this will be a really good game tomorrow, in my opinion. I'll be watching this if I get a chance. But yes, next week you will be playing Everton. This will be interesting. They'll be playing at home. This game, Ole needs to win this game badly, man. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. He needs to win this game, and he needs to win it convincingly, for sure. What do you think?
I think Everton could have that.
Really? I mean, that's not good. That's not good for you to think like that, dude.
Well, the thing is that I hate to say this, but I think we're doing the same thing that City did about 4 or 5 years ago, where they just bought guys because they were named. Do you remember when they bought like people like Robinho and like this is when they first got money, and they bought like Robinho.
You bought him for the sake of it. Like you bought Alexis Sanchez for the sake of it, man. Like you didn't need Alexis Sanchez, but you fucking bought him.
Yeah, because he was a name. And that's the thing is that we're buying guys who are. And the thing is that Jadon Sancho has all the potential in the world, but the thing is that when we play him, we don't play him in the right place to do what he does well. All we just do is just. And the thing is that like because if he did what he did well, he just crossed the ball into the box and let like Ronaldo get his head on it, which is what
he hasn't been that great for you guys this season. I'm hoping. Well, I'm not sure if I'm hoping, but I've known him as an England player, so for that reason alone, I hope he turns things around. But he hasn't been that great for you. I think Oh, my bird's on top of my microphone. I think playing. Maybe he's a little bit intimidated, by having somebody like Ronaldo around. I'm not so sure. My bird is biting my joypad, but nevertheless, I think Jadon Sancho really needs to turn things around, and he needs to turn things around big time. I think maybe there's more spotlight on him than ever. Like there wasn't much of a spotlight on him at Dortmund, even though people knew he was killing it for Dortmund, because there was more of a spotlight for him for England. And the first early game for England, he was pretty good, but during like his latter games, especially this European Championship, whenever he played, he was shit. It was no wonder Southgate never played him. You look at him playing for United now; it doesn't seem to be that good. But I do hope he turns it around. Now, Chelsea will be playing Southampton at home. Chelsea should win this, but considering Southampton are one of those banana skin teams,
I think they'll draw that.
I wouldn't be surprised. It'll be another good result for Southampton to draw that. They are, but once again, they are a banana skin team. Come on, girl, leave my joypad and my remote control alone. Yes, but
so Wolves against Newcastle. I reckon Wolves will have that. Burnley against Norwich City. I reckon Burnley will hammer Norwich City because Norwich City are just terrible. Sorry, Norwich City fan, but you know it's true.
Wolves versus Burnley versus this is a 6-pointer right here, dude. I think this game's gonna be shit, but I do think maybe Burnley might knock it 1-0. I don't think there's gonna be a battering. I think Burnley might just about win this 1-0. I don't think it's gonna be that good a game. Both these teams can't score to save their lives.
But Burnley are a better team than Norwich City.
Yeah, but they're both at the bottom. They're both right at the bottom. This is a 6-pointer. I do think Burnley will win, but I don't think it'll be a battering. No way. I think it'll be a 1-0 to Burnley, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I'm feeling. Wolves versus Newcastle. This is close to another 6-pointer as well. But Wolves, I think, do have the edge on this game. They're playing at home as well. And after winning yesterday, or was it today, they will definitely be up for this game for sure. I was thinking Newcastle will be another 3 points. Leeds versus Watford. Here's another team at the teams at the bottom who need points off each other. Leeds need it more than Watford do. But it's not like Watford don't want these fucking points themselves. This will be interesting to see how they turn out. Leeds are in real deep shit right now, and if they lose to Watford, in my opinion, the manager of Leeds, he might be under a bit of pressure because somebody can manage Leeds and possibly turn them over and change them around. It's not like they're Norwich or Burnley in that sense, but yeah, Leeds really need to sort their shit out. What do you think about that game?
I reckon Leeds will have that. I mean,
Really?
Watford decent. I think Watford are a good side. Don't get me wrong, but I think that Leeds have got good players, and I think they'll edge it.
Fair enough. Well, the 5:30 kickoff. I'm really happy about that. Is Brighton versus Arsenal. This is a big game. Now, I don't know what sort of Brighton we're going to get. Are we going to get a Brighton that? Are we going to get a Brighton that has just come off a win against Crystal Palace and are still full of beans, or will they have lost against Crystal Palace or maybe drawn against Crystal Palace and seem to be a bit vulnerable? Even if they did lose against Palace, they're still in a better position in the league than us, and it'll be interesting to see Ben White obviously going back to his old club. He's going to get taunted to shit. So
I reckon Brighton player could target him because you said that you think he's a bit of a weak link to your side.
He was very good today. I'll be honest with you. He was excellent today. But yeah, he might be. I mean, they know who Ben White is. So Tottenham versus Aston Villa.
Tottenham might lose that.
I think Tottenham will lose that too, and I'm not just saying that as a. I think Tottenham. But Tottenham was obviously a step up, and he took it. But after today's game, he's been exposed big time. Now, this is the far west and far east of London, West Ham versus
I think Brentford could have that.
I wouldn't underestimate West Ham at all in this match.
I'm not. I just think that Brentford are really, really good side, and I reckon they'll have that.
I'm going to go for a draw in this game.
No, I'm calling Brentford right now. I'm saying Brentford are going to win that.
Fair enough. Crystal Palace versus Leicester City. Now, in the past, I would have said Leicester City every day of the week. But Leicester City just are not themselves this season. Yes, they've won games, but they've lost games. And they don't seem to be the Leicester City of old. If Crystal Palace ever won 3 points against Leicester, this is the best chance to get it, in my opinion. But I'm going to go for a draw as well. What do you think?
Palace City, Leicester could have that. I don't know, but I mean, if not, it's going to be a draw. I agree.
And the highlight match of the weekend will be Liverpool versus Man City.
I reckon Liverpool's going to have that.
I don't know, man.
No, because City don't have a striker, and they can keep on saying, "Oh, we keep on winning." Yeah, but there's going to come a season. There's going to come a game when you need a striker and you don't have one, and you get your ass kicked. That happened against Tottenham, and it'll happen here. Mark my words, Liverpool's going to kick the shit out of them.
We'll kick the shit out of them. That's
yeah. All right. I'm going to call the score right now. Right, if I'm wrong about this, right, I'm going to within a goal, 3-0 to Liverpool.
Okay. Wow, that's a big deal. You saying that?
It could be 2-0. It could be 4-0, but it's going to be like somewhere in the 3-0.
I can see Liverpool beating City. I can see City beating Liverpool. I can also see a draw. It's really difficult to call this one. This is like Liverpool's. I mean, look, Liverpool didn't do that well against Chelsea. I mean, this is the second big match they're playing. They played Chelsea, and they fluffed their lines against Chelsea. Chelsea were down to 10 men for fuck's sake, and Liverpool couldn't break them down. And that was at Anfield. I'm not sure about this game. I think I'm going to go with Man City. I don't know what the score's going to be, but if Man City are a team who might have been rejuvenated, and the thing with Liverpool is that they've got a good team, but they haven't got a good squad.
Okay.
And you lose a player here or there, and they're not that good anymore. And at the same time, so I'm just talking outside of this game. In the future, they're going to be going to like a lot of their players are going to be playing in the African nations, Mane and Salah in particular. I think they need 3 points out of this game badly, but I just think Manchester City is going to be too much for them. I think I'm going to go for a Manchester City win. But yeah, that's next week in football. But this week in football, this is the league table.
Liverpool's still leading by a point. So if they win against City, they're going to be 4 points up. If City win, they're going to be 2 points up.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And Liverpool banged them more goals, but they've also conceded more. They've conceded 4 goals to City's 1. You know, which is quite good for City, to come to think of it. City have only conceded 1 goal. That's amazing after 6 games. You know, that is quite good. And that was against Tottenham at the beginning of the season when they lost 1-0. Since then, they haven't conceded a single goal, Bossman.
Okay.
You know, Chelsea have only conceded 2. One of them was yesterday against Manchester City. Manchester United, they're 4th, regardless of the stumblings you guys have had. You know, still up there. But you would have been top of the league if you beat. You would have been top of the league if you had beat Aston Villa. That's the problem. You know what I mean?
If we drew, we would have been equal with Liverpool.
Yeah. Everton still in this top 5. I mean, they're in a good spot. I mean, this is where like Everton used to be a lot back in the day when I was a kid. Brighton's still up there, obviously. 12 points. They're no mugs this season. They're having an excellent season. West Ham, they were faltering a little bit, but they've got their shit together. And Aston Villa seems to be doing well again. Brentford seems to be doing well again. I mean, that was a great draw for them to have. I mean, as long as they survive the season, I think they'll be very happy. When we talk about a team that came up for the playoffs, so 9th, whatever, they're not fast. Arsenal, we're getting our winning ways back now. 9 points this season. Why does it say a loss there? Who was that? That was, well, our last 3 games we've won. This is a mistake. This should be a green tick.
No, you did lose. You lost against Brentford.
Brentford. You lost
against City, and you lost against Chelsea.
Yeah, but then we beat Norwich, then we beat Burnley, and we just beat Tottenham. So the last 3 games we've won. So this should be a tick. Tottenham.
I think he hasn't put the new result on yet. I don't think because it's the last 5 games.
No, but they haven't updated this bit too well. But this bit here, but they haven't updated everything else. Tottenham's as well, by the way. Arsenal and Tottenham on the same points. It's amazing. 3 games prior to this, we were bottom of the league. They were top of the league. 3 games after that, we're now the same fucking amount of points. We're above them actually, because just by a tad on goal difference. A tad, you know, it's unbelievable. You know, and then Watford, they're Leicester. Look at Leicester, dude. They're doing really poorly this season. You know, this is their worst start to a season in a long time. I think they're relying too much on Jamie Vardy now, and they might need to look for his successor. I'm not saying that Jamie Vardy's not good anymore, but you know, eventually all good players.
All good things come to an end.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jamie Vardy's successor needs to be found. I'm surprised Watford are above them, actually. I didn't realise how bad it is. Wolves, obviously, Crystal Palace, Southampton. Look at that, draw FC, Southampton, except for that.
So look at Leeds, Burnley, Norwich. I think Leeds are going to be the team that's not going to be there at the end of the season. I think Newcastle probably could be.
Norwich are down, as far as I'm concerned. Norwich are already
Oh,
relegated.
no. As I said, I reckon Norwich are going to beat Sunderland's all-time lowest ever points total. I don't think that's I don't think that's particularly going to be what's the word? Egregious.
I do think not. Look, football is a strange sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine Norwich beating like one of the top 6 sides away from home, just to really throw a twist in the title race, for everyone else. I remember like fucking when Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2. I remember Wolves, was it Wolves? They beat Manchester City away from home, and Crystal Palace also beating you guys at Old Trafford. And Aston Villa won there today. So I can imagine Norwich doing something like that this season, where you think to yourself they're going to play a big team and probably get battered by them, but they end up winning it. And that's what makes football such an amazing sport. But I do think Burnley's down, in my opinion. I think the 3 teams we see down there, possibly with Newcastle. But, I mean, yeah, I think it's between Leeds and Newcastle who gets out, in my opinion.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Billy could do. I don't know what you think.
Say that again, mate.
I think Bill could do if they get like a couple of like scrape a couple like 1-0 wins. They could turn it around, but
yeah.
But again, Norwich not a chance. As I said, Norwich, in my opinion, are down already, and I hate seeing that after 6 games.
I can't see who they're going to win against. I mean, even when whoever they play in amongst those teams, I could see them losing or at best drawing. But I can't see anything coming out, any results coming from these teams for Norwich. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Like regarding Leeds and Newcastle, Burnley to a degree, but they haven't won either. But Leeds and Newcastle haven't won. Southampton hasn't won a game. Crystal Palace has only won 1 game. They're not that far away. If Newcastle or Leeds win a game, they're out of the relegation zone. They're in the same points as Wolves.
Yeah.
But their goal difference is a joke. I mean, they're double figures already, and we're 6 games in, 14, 11, 16 away goals. Goals against. They are leaking goals, mate. They're the sieves of football. So it's not looking good for them at all. But pretty much what we see down here, some of these teams are already relegated. They just don't realize it. There is no chance in hell. And if I get proven wrong, fair enough. But from what I'm seeing right now, there's no chance in hell that Norwich are going to get out of this. And I would love it. I would actually absolutely love it if they didn't get a single fucking point this season. Yeah, it's a bit of a bastard thing to say, but there you go.
Well, so you want them to you just want them to get 0 points?
Yes. Why the fuck not? You know what I mean?
Which would be the record for forever, because there's no way that you could get less than that.
And then you get Delia Smith all pissed out of her face, going, "We need a 12th man. Let's be having you." You know what I mean? Like, and everyone's ripping their season tickets in front of her face. I don't want to pick on Norwich too much. I don't want to pick on Norwich too much. They are a shit team, but nevertheless, it'll be from my perspective as somebody who's not a Norwich fan, who doesn't care about Norwich too much. I would love to see them not get a single fucking point this season. Anyways, I think we've spoken about football enough this week, my friend. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap things up? Bossman?
No, that's it for me.
Are you in Champions League next week?
I think could be.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks, so yeah, it could be.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, until then, we'll find out, I guess, close enough. But for now, for everyone who's watching, don't forget to join us next Sunday in the evening at some point, where we'll be talking about this week in football. We'll be talking about whatever happened during midweek as well as what has happened during the weekend. So please join us for that. Thank you very much, Bossman. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never fucking heard of. And we'll see you cunts later. Bye-bye.